In the 3-day project management course with High Tech Institute, I will look into the question how to set up projects right. That starts with understanding what is the main objective and the nature of the project that we are in. That will be taking more or less the first day. That we are looking into the question, how can I recognize which part of my project has to follow which project type. On the second day, we will learn a little bit more about the idea how to execute and how to manage the different aspects of the project or sub-projects that we have established on the first day. And we will learn about stakeholder management, we will learn about the different aspects of the timing and the correct scoping of projects. So how to scope and how not to scope. And on the third day, we will look into the question of tracking, on the question of communication. We will look into the question of how to operate the heartbeat of the project in a good way to finally lead it to a success. This all will be accompanied by a through-going exercise, which will lead your way from the first day to the last, with a fair chance to stumble and fall, which in many cases is more educative than being successful right away. So that means what we will do is we will exercise that what we preach right away in the course. Project management in itself for high integration components in a technical world is highly dependent on the question how good it is linked to the system architecture. The system architecture and the project management are things that are uneven twins. They belong to inseparably together and they need to be supporting each other to yield a good result. If they don't, you can see hilarious failures. And that is the reason why it is so important that we have a project management course linked to system architecture. Or other way around, system architecture linked to project management. Because only the combination of these two allows you to actually be successful. And successful means delivering value to your customer in time and in quality. Of course, there are a lot of different informations about project management, and the project management itself is already a discipline which is now 70 or 80 years old. What is currently changing is that we see a lot of software and highly integration driven subjects intruding into classical areas of mechanical engineering and these kind of things. And this is also changing the nature of project management at the moment. And what I basically want to deliver is I want to deliver a state-of-the-art project management course which is closely linked to the system architecture for highly integrated technology components. That is where at the moment we can really make a differentiation and where at the moment a lot of things go wrong, at least when I look into what my daily business is in task force leading. Being a trainer means in the first place that you have to be passionate about your subject. You have to love it and you have to sweat it and you have to transmit it to your people. The second thing is you have to be knowledgeable, because you have to know about what is actually the real thing happening on the first frontier that you are teaching. With my 20 years of experience in project leadership and my current business of leading task forces in automotive and semiconductor industry, I think I know what is currently happening in this world, and I love to transmit this experience and to share this experience with the people that I happen to educate. In every project management course, of course, you are exposed to the advertisement, this is leading edge methodology. I don't think that leading edge methodology is actually the right thing, because each time we see project management methods coming up, they are also disappearing after some time. The art is to be knowledgeable about these methods and to apply them like tools in the right moment for the right part of your project. And that is exactly what I want to teach. I don't want to teach you a specific method, but I want to give you a tool set that you are able to apply to be prepared whatever comes your way. Because one thing is for sure, and this will stay, project management means to deal with the unexpected. These uncertainties I was referring to are of course normally very often happening and realizing in innovation projects. When you basically are integrating an innovation into a new product that you have to promise to your customer. And the challenge is to deal with this in the project management in a way that you are not letting your whole organization be held hostage for one particular innovation project not being able to deliver in time. Because they have to deal with the unexpected. They are uncertain. The art of project management is there to decouple and orthogonalize the different aspects to each other, that you are still able to deliver to the customer and create innovation at the same time in your organization. This is paving your long-term success. A part of this risk management is of course also that in many developments I have to communicate to the customer delivery dates and performances long before my project or my product is actually available. That comes from the fact that we are living nowadays in the age of integration, which means that my customer has to pick up my delivery and integrate it into his solution to his customer again. And of course one can now ask the question, isn't it a little bit irresponsible to make a promise long before I actually have the product in my hands that I can deliver? On the other hand, we have to accept that also my customer has to make its lead times, and we have to manage the communication and the trust level with the customer upfront before we deliver. That is a key part of our success, that our customer goes on this journey together with us, and this is a part of project communication with its stakeholders, which is a crucial part, which is not looking into my own organization, but is looking into the organization that I am making business with. That underlines the importance of a project manager being not only a communicator to its inside organization and leading that pack, but also the fact that the project manager needs to be able to communicate upwards to its stakeholders, and maybe not even to just to stakeholders, but also to suppliers, to users, to people that are technical experts that are delivering special knowledge to the project, and these kind of things. Communication is one of the key parts that we will visit in our course to ensure that your project will become a success. These aspects of communication become especially tricky when you are exposed to international projects, where the integration is not only challenging from the technical aspects that you have to manage, but also from the fact that you have to work over language barriers, over different company cultures, over different time zones, and of course also over different engineering disciplines. This is the moment where creating a team becomes a very challenging task, but will be, in the beginning of the project, an integral part of a good project management and project leadership. Here, project leadership and project management are going hand in hand, because a good cutting plan of your subject to be mastered and a good communication and a good way of transmitting it to different recipients is key to the success in this particular situation. This communication aspect I have experienced firsthand. First of all, I have of course worked for several years in US and in Asia, And on top of that, as a biggest challenge, I've worked for several years in the Netherlands. So that means that the gap between planning and chaos is something that is very familiar to me. But as a matter of fact, it is always important that you have a plan and you accept during your project management that you may deviate from the plan. So having some uncertainties and having some unexpected events does not give you any reason not to have a good project plan in the beginning. Deviating from a plan is easy if you have one. Having no plan at all means chaos. One of the sources of chaos and obstacles in your project can always be that individuals, either for language barriers or for personal reasons, are not coping with the pace and the uncertainty in the project. A lot of people feel challenged or feel afraid when dealing with things that are not completely clear. And that is a new dimension that you also have to master in your project plan or in your project leadership. Because you are, as a project manager, and let me be very clear about that, you are responsible for delivery, whatever it takes. And that means that you have to chunk down the subject and the problems for your peers into eatable pieces. And that is exactly how you cope with this particular challenge on top of the technology challenges that you have. So that means, you see, it is a very complex task, which I think is a part of the fun. As I described, project management is a complex task that is operating on the leadership, it's operating on the structure, which is project management, and it's operating on the linking to the architecture. And as such, it's a very complex endeavor. And of course, this may lead to failure. I've also fumbled projects in hilarious ways, but if you are staying honest and upright to yourself and you understand what was the problem, you won't make the mistake a second time. And that is exactly what I want to pass on. Because most of the project are making the mistakes in the beginning and they pay for it later with interest rate on top. Of course, the question is now, where is project management developing? What is going to change with project management? And I think the biggest change that we will see is that we will have in areas like requirements engineering, in system architecture, and also in standard tasks of project management, we will see the support of automated systems growing. And the one who is mastering these automated systems, I don't want to use the buzzword KI or artificial intelligence here, these people are having a head start in the market because their turnover time of their projects to the market will further shrink. And mastering that will be the big change in the near future. The way how to prepare for that is, first of all, that you understand in the project setup how your project has to be cut down, how your management style has to adapt to the different challenges of the different sub-projects in a good way. And of course, you have to build up in your organization the workforce and the capability of dealing with this kind of uncertainty and this kind of fast-moving projects. That is a journey that can be supported by education and that can be supported by organization development. Being a project leader in an innovation-prone technology development is, of course, a roller coaster, or can at least be a roller coaster. To my observation, most of the tasks that go wrong are tasks that are not having a good cutting plan, a good plan of operation in the beginning. And this is the good news. These are things you can learn. These are things that are actually no rocket science. You just have to look to the task at hand from a different angle. You have to apply your knowledge and your tool set. And with that, you are opening up a field for you that actually allows you to enjoy the ride on the white water rather than swallowing it. Which is exactly why I became a project leader. This is exactly the reason why I will never pursue a career as a line function anymore. Because doing things that no one has done before is actually fun.